Here in Invercargill at the Invercargill Harness Racing Club, catching up with Jonny Turner. Firstly, Jonny, welcome to Campbell's Comments for the first time, mate.
Yeah, great to be here, Paul, and hey, welcome to Southland. I know you've been here a while, but great to have you here.
We were going to do one of these 3 days, 4 days. I get a little bit busy and a bit caught up. It's a great area, isn't it? It's a great area, so many positive harness stories, which I really love.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a pretty special region as far as harness racing goes. I think the key thing here is all the clubs and all the participants working together through Southern Harnesses, which is an amalgamated organisation, and it's sort of the envy of a lot of other regions in New Zealand who perhaps don't have quite the working together and cooperation.
I think also too, like I did an interview with Nathan and then also one with Brett Gray. The trainers, and these guys both are your leading trainers, but getting back in, getting into the programming, understanding what goes on. And it's very easy to point the finger at people and say, oh, we've got to do this and oh, we've got to do that. These guys now understand it's not always that simple, and they're getting a pretty good grasping of how it all works.
Yeah, it's easily forgotten at times that the game is largely volunteer based. I mean, club committees are made up of volunteers, certainly in this part of the world, and maybe Addington and Alexandra Park are structured differently, obviously. But around here, it's all about that grassroots base and engaging the local community, and trying to put on a good show. And everyone, I think, all the trainers, drivers, owners, breeders realise that you can all contribute in different ways.
Yep, you can, and have a lot of fun, and that's what I'm about. We're going to do a little bit of a form talk, if you like, on probably the 4 main races for tomorrow. But how big is Diamonds Day for the Southland community?
I think it's absolutely huge. Not just obviously the races themselves and the opportunity for the horses and the owners, but I think it's a real day for the Southern Harness community to stamp the flag, put a flag in the ground and say, hey, the big races are on. Let's spread the message to the wider community, because if we're going to be perfectly honest, harness racing is struggling with a few challenges in terms of maybe perception and some of our turnovers at the moment. So it's important we reach the man on the street or the casual punter or the casual harness racing fan, and days like that are really important in terms of spreading that message. The promotion that goes into it reaches that wider audience, and hopefully we can encourage them to come and enjoy the day and maybe have a bet, just have a good time, maybe watch their mate's horse and maybe go away thinking about, maybe I wouldn't mind a wee sharing a horse somewhere. So I think that's the basis for days like these, as much as is about the fast horses and watching the big stables. And
as important as that is for the Southland, it's also so important for harness racing in general. And you're right, that's what it means here for here. But those words you just echoed is exactly what we need to get everyone doing harness racing, no matter where they are.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's not something you probably want to talk about too much, but there've been some real challenges in the last 3 or 4 years in terms of our perception and in terms of isolated cases of people doing the wrong thing. And obviously headlines spreading things that aren't too encouraging. So we need to say, hey, this is actually a great game. Isolated incidents aside, it's a great fair sport, and anyone who gets involved gets the bug, and they never get out. No,
and you get to come down here and meet some awesome people. Must say very quickly again, one more thing before we do start on this is Diamonds Day. What an initiative by the club. And I reckon Julie said the other day it was valued at $5,000. I saw a story the other day that the ring tomorrow, for any lucky enough to be here on track, betting, and you'll get a ticket I think you've got to spend more than $5, but you'll get
$5.
You get a ticket, and you can get as many tickets as you like into it for a beautiful diamond ring valued at $5,700, which is just an amazing first prize, isn't it?
It's amazing, and that's one of the key things that's going to reach. Maybe the people that are sitting on the fence going, should I go or should I not go? Well, why don't a bunch of ladies get their mates together and cruise down to the races and maybe win a $5,000 ring? That's a really innovative prize, and that's I think the club can be really proud of what they've done there.
And we are up here in one of the grandstands purely because it is a little bit windy outside. There's plenty of, even if it's not the greatest day, there's plenty of places here you can escape the weather and enjoy the hospitality.
Yeah, up there, top of the park is all glassed in, and it's a great place to watch races and have a few drinks and bite tea and that sort of thing, and have a couple of bets. So everyone's well catered for.
All right, let's try and look after some of the people. I might even throw you a curly one. I said we'll do the 4 races, but we might even see if you've got a roughie a little bit later on. You are one of the best form students in the area. How much time do you put into the form, mate?
There's plenty of hours going to watching tape. I mean, it's partially my job, obviously. Reporting on races is to watch them inside out. So, there's a fair bit of study goes in, and I just sort of do my best. You can't obviously pick every winner, but if you give it a good crack, hopefully we can come up with a couple here and there. And there's obviously real quality fields tomorrow, and really challenging barrier draws for some really good horses that are going to obviously have to do a bit of work at some stage.
Right, race number 5 is the first one we're going to highlight. It's a Diamond Creek Farm 2-year-old classic, $55,000 race. Now I know Magic's pretty keen on one in this race. He was the tote odds are coming up pretty early. He's very, very keen on Vesem. Is it Vesmi? Vesmi I'll go with.
Yeah, Vesem.
The unbeaten Vincent horse, Blair Orange. I think it's trained by Mark Purdon, is it not? I can't see the trainer.
Mark and Nathan,
yeah, very good. Yeah, your thoughts on this race?
Vesem went to the kindergarten stakes last month, sat park the trip and won, and was very impressive. I had a quick count to Nathan Purdon during the week. He has rated him the more forward of the two horses, or the more the bigger winning chance at this stage. And despite drawing barrier 8, I expect him to be very hard to beat. Major Hot ran him closer in the kindergarten stakes, had a better run, but Nathan said he's trained on a little bit better since then. He's
Major Hot.
Major Hot. So I think they're the two clear-cut picks with in the All Stars colours, and they're going to be very hard to beat. But I'll go for Vesem as the number one pick.
They're hard to beat no matter where they go, but they're a long way from home here. They're in enemy territory.
Their record out there is pretty outstanding. So, and they travel down, stay with Kirsten Green, so they won't miss a beat there. They're in great hands there. Yeah,
it is indeed, and she's been sensational looking after me as well. I must say, she's watched a couple of those videos with her, especially the track work one.
Yeah,
she's so funny. It's worth just put the volume up and just listen to her. I reckon it's great. So it's one of those ones. Macca Lodge, because Macca do a huge job in the area, breeding down everyone's horses. It's just phenomenal, the operation that they do. I was fortunate enough to be out there the other day. And Neverly Are Stud, the Southern Oaks. This is a $45,000 race for the 3-year-old fillies. Interesting race here, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Early tactics is going to be pretty key. Last week, Black Pearl went to the last heat of the series at Winton, and she was very, very good and very tough. And she looked like a horse that 2-7 is going to just be right up her alley. She's drawn to get very handy to the speed. If she were to lead, she would take some catching, but obviously the hot favourite Sweet Diamond, who has been she's just been outstanding recently from the Stonewall team. She had a wee non-tote race last week and blazed home in 26 second sort of last quarter and just looked like a real nice hit out. So Sweet Diamond, obviously the top pick. I think Black Pearl has a genuine winning chance and a genuine hope of beating her.
It's a tricky little race. If you go for omen bets, you've got Black Pearl and Sweet Diamond. We're on Diamond Day. It could be a fair bit of jewellery going around. It could be a tricky one. So, Alabar Southern Supremacy Stakes. Now, a lot of people talk about this race, $45,000 race for the 3-year-old colts and geldings. All the talk, and you did a little video on it the other day, and I encourage people to go and have a look at it. It's been about Ohaka Connor, not only how good he's going, but how good he worked here. I think it was Thursday morning.
Yeah, he was out here yesterday morning and Friday morning. Yeah. So, he worked sensationally. He's just all X factor and all power, that horse. I don't think he really appreciates his job at hand at the moment. He's just running on pure ability. Not that he's not exceptionally well trained, obviously, but he's going to mature into an even better horse. I think he's just got that X factor about him. He'll be very hard to beat, but certainly the barrier draw's not perfect for him. I mean, there's a couple of horses that can leave the gate fast. He's drawn one, and to be fair, I would expect him to be crossed by Da Vinci, who can absolutely launch out of the barriers. So, what that means for Ohaka Connor, I'm not too sure. I imagine if they settled in single file, which they could do in a small field, he can get off. I'd imagine he'll get off and get round at some point and perhaps be too good. So that's the only query, is where he'll get too early. But he's the clear top pick in terms of his ability and his credentials and that sort of thing.
I've done an interview with Craig Ferguson, and it hasn't gone up yet, and we don't actually mention it, but I do know, speaking to him off air, he reckons you'll cross him pretty comfortably by the sounds. It must have a fair bit of gate speed, Da Vinci, by the sounds.
Yeah, well, there was a race here, right out here, and I don't think I've seen one leave the gate faster as him. He crossed them in just a split second. So it'll be interesting to see what that means. Captain Tom's a very good horse too, so
it's a good race.
He follows out Ahoka Corner, so what that means for him, the early pressure, I'm not sure, but I would imagine in the small field they could settle in single file and then anyone can just do what they want. So
that's 5-3. So for the Aussie watchers and all the rest, it's 5-1. It's going to be a good race to tune in and watch. By the it's going to have a fair bit of action going on in it. And then race 8 is the last one we're really going to go through a full preview on, but I will also get a few others. Another 2,700 metre race. Love your distance races. As an Aussie, I love it. Watching trials yesterday over 2,400 metres at Winton. It was absolutely brilliant. This is a Regent Car Court Southern Cups final. I did a little track work, as I said, with Tommy Waterhouse, and I think is Brad's horse in this race as well. No, he's not in this race, but it was interesting listening to Kristen. Said he's a bit hot and just try to keep him quiet, but what's your thoughts on this race?
To me, the two top picks are obviously in very different circumstances. Wheel of Fortune led up. He likes to lead up and won the Wyndham Cup last start, and Franco Norton was just absolutely phenomenal out at Winton last week, 54.2 half, which is, I can't remember a quicker last half at Winton. Obviously one's off a massive handicap and one's off 10 metres, so
35 metres.
Yeah, so Franco Norton, it's a huge ask. I've gone with him because I do think he's clearly the best horse in the race. He's another with real X factor. I think he's pretty special, and Wheel of Fortune will get obviously every chance to beat him, whether he does or not. I think he's a big chance, but I'll put him in second. So, just
for me, the U1 is that unruly one. So does that mean he can be a bit risky?
He's a hitter. I asked Steve McRae what the go was, because last start he began like a rocket, and then the start before that he broke. He said he's like just one of those horses. He'll either get it real good, or he'll just get it really bad. So,
you put a 35 metre handicap on top of that. The beauty of stands. Anyone in Australia watching? Give us some more stands. We love them. They love the intrigue. What about for the meeting? What is your best for the meeting?
Yeah, it's a tricky races across the day. I think in terms of best horse, I'd probably go Storyteller.
What race is that one?
He's race 2. He's drawn 4 on the second row, so good luck to me, obviously. But he looks like a really classy maiden. He looks like he would have been in the Supremacy had it been held, in a month from now. He's just come up, obviously, a wee bit late, but he looks like a classy maiden. So I'll go Storyteller, and I thought Hurricane Hendricks is probably drawn to win as well. Although
it's me on the track work, Nathan Dunn.
Yeah, he's racing a very nice horse in Mickey Nose, but he's got a much better barrier draw. So those would be probably the two key bets. And if you're stuck for something else, just go for the Great Mare and Peregrine. So she should be right there, I'd imagine. She's
you might own a share in that one.
No.
You don't?
She's just out at the barn where I help out, and she's.
Well, the way you were massaging her in the last one, I thought you were the major shareholder.
No, just the stable boy. I'm just there to learn a couple of things off Brett Gray. It's been. I moved to Invercargill recently and got the chance to be more involved with some of these stables, and it's been great seeing the other side of it instead of just in front of the computer and interviewing people all the time. So, yeah, it's been a lot of fun and learning a lot off a lot of great people, so yeah, it's cool.
Hopefully with Storyteller we might have something a little bit unique tomorrow. We're going to probably do a couple of mic'd ups, so all going well we might have a unique view of that, and Nate's pretty confident about it. So
the GOAT.
Yeah.
So have you caught up with the reason why he's known as the GOAT around here? And
well, he drove 1,000 winners, and I think that's going to be recognised after the last tomorrow.
Yep.
But there's more.
He's just generally known as the GOAT because he just makes GOAT stuff happen, much like your Michael Jordans or your Tom Brady's. You put the GOAT on and you're going to get the job done. And, he's just magic hands, I think.
He's you got your club secretary. He's called Magic. You guys have got everything.
Yeah,
you got the GOAT. You got a full-on NBA side happening down here.
We do.
He, I will say, he and like so many others, just unbelievable from my point of view as an Aussie to come over here, and there's not a worry in the world. They open their doors up, and it's so good, I must say.
Yeah, no, his record's outstanding. There's a lot of fine horsemen and horsewomen in this part of the world, and I'm privileged to interview them basically every week, and it's a real pleasure.
Good as gold. Jonny, thank you. Thanks for giving us a bit of a run through for some of the form and a little bit of lowdown on yourself. As I said, you do plenty of form, and you always end up Up north. It is up north because we can't be anywhere further south. Up Christchurch.
We've crossed paths at Eddington's a few times, haven't we?
Yeah. It's good to catch up with you, and you get to the sales as well. I know a lot of people like catching up with you. Brett Coffey and Cam Brown. Yes. Cam Bray probably likes to too, and Cam Grant and Cam Kirkwood. It's a big name, Cam, over here in New Zealand.
They're into it. The Aussie boys say they're always around the traps, aren't we?
Yeah, and Alabama sponsoring a couple of the races, mate. So
just while we're here, I'm obviously not in your class as an interviewer, but can I interview you? Like, can I ask you, say, Paul, you've been here since the race by Grins, and you've been right around the countryside. What's some of the special things you've seen as far as our industry's concerned?
The special thing I've seen, one, is the people, and I say that I've had a couple of people say no to me, and I'm not going to say who they are, but they don't want to because they're that little bit shy. But I think the buy-in that the industry have here, and we say there before about the negative Nellies, if you like, that want to be negative all the time. There are so many people that are passionate about this sport and want it to continue, and it will continue. It won't fall over, and no matter what people say, that is the highlight. You go horse-wise, I love copy that. I have a soft spot for him. I had a great association with Merv Butterworth. Met Ray Green a couple of times in Australia, so to come over and see his stable and be there with his horses. But anyone in general, do an interview with Monica Ranger, and the feedback that you get from interviewing those people, it's I think it's great. And then you get down here to the south. And I don't know. I just can't believe it. Like I said, I got up to Macca Lodge, Arden Lodge, travelled everywhere, seen the countryside, you see the tracks, the history. Yeah, I don't know. It's just great. I encourage people to get here. It's just brilliant, I reckon.
What could we do better that you see at home that they're doing well?
Good question. I don't know the answer to that because, you guys have so many people that do promote the sport on different platforms. Maybe you have to look at short course racing. I hate it. But maybe you have to look at that to get to that Australian and American market, that little bit more, definitely don't do 1,200 metre races, but, maybe a couple of times where you have those mile days and the form's a little bit easier. But what you do well is change it up. And as I said, 2,700 metre stands, 2,400 metre mobiles for 3-year-old fillies. We only get those once a year for oaks. So, But maybe look at that. I don't like it. But it is sometimes there, and it should be something that people need to look at.
Yeah, we do definitely need to appeal to the punter, obviously, and the punter's king, and they feed.
And probably embrace what you do have, which is a great trotting breed, and really promote those trotting and those trotting races, even in off-season racing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, fair point. No.
That's it.
Was that painless? Or?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. And it's still recording. Sometimes it goes 20 minutes and it actually still goes. So,
cool.
Johnny, thank you.
No, I appreciate
a lot of people have been wanting to interview me. You're the first one that's actually got to.
I took my chance.
I think, look, as I said, in all honesty, there's so many people out there that want to slick the boots into harness racing. It is a great sport. You guys have a look here, the amount of ladies that you have driving. You're from young girls to Nikki Chilcott's. You have such a vast range of people. You've got Three Wise Men the other day at Methven. You've got so many good people. You've got Brett Gray and Nathan Williamson down here that are buying in, putting back into the industry, programming and things like that. Positive stories everywhere. Let the negative Nellies say whatever they want. Let it die out in the background and just keep being positive. I think it's a great sport and continue to grow it, mate. So
can't agree more, mate.
Thank you very much, Johnny. Bit random, but I like that. The Campbell's comments likes random. And if you do like random, I tell you, go and just turn Kristen's track work on the beach, and you don't have to watch it because she's just going up and back the beach, but it is some great stuff. Kristen Green, she's one of my favourites now after that, I must say. So, naked men running around a beach. It was, it's different. All right, mate, thank you very much. As I said, first race 12 tomorrow here for the Aussies is 10 past 10. Going to be a great day, Diamonds Day, huge competitions and some really, really high class racing. Johnny, thank you. Thanks for everything you do, mate.
I appreciate your coverage, mate.
Thank you.